So hello everybody, Reece's Reviews here, and welcome back to the second entry in my The Many Characters of American Horror Story series. So last video, if you did see it, I did Sarah Paulson. I have a dog over there, if I keep looking over there, that is why. So yeah, last week I did Sarah Paulson, and yeah, if you watch American Horror Story, you will know that Sarah Paulson has been in every series, and so has Evan Peters. And as you can see by the title, that is who we're tackling today. So if you didn't see the last video and you want to know what the series is, basically, instead of just doing a ranking, because, you know, I'm doing enough rankings at the moment, I want to spice things up. What I will do within this series is take a recurring star from American Horror Story that's done at least 4 characters, and just go through each of their characters in order, and just talk a bit about each one, how I feel about them. And yeah, if you really are interested in my ranking, I will leave one in the description, but I'm not going to say it here. So yeah, this week we are tackling Evan Peters, so let's get into it. So, Evan Peters' first character, I feel is his best, and that is Tate Langdon. Murder House, believe it or not, is one of my least favourite seasons. Like, it's hard to say least favourite, because it's kind of like the Pixar rankings. Like, I'd say, like, even though I put something like, what's an example? Like, WALL-E. I put WALL-E at, like, number 14, but I still really enjoy WALL-E. And it's kind of like with American Horror Story. The only season I really don't enjoy is Roanoke, but Murder House, even though it's number 5, I still love it. It's just that the other 4 seasons are just a tiny bit better for me. But Tate Langdon really was one of the main things that Murder House just stood for me. Because, if you want to know, the reason I don't really like Murder House is because I feel like moving into a haunted house is just too much of a horror cliche for me. But I think it was executed well. But with Tate Langdon, it was just the emotion that Evan Peters brought to that character. Like, he is only just my favourite era of Evan Peters, and it is because of Evan Peters' acting performance as him. Because I think Evan Peters does one of my favourite acting performances in the whole of American Horror Story is Evan Peters as Tate Langdon, because he just brings so much raw emotion. And, you know, the thing that I love the most about Tate is that he is a likeable character after what he's done. Even though he's done what he's done, he's likeable, and I like that about him. And plus, he did bring one of the most nail-biting scenes of the entire of American Horror Story. I forgot which episode it is, but that sequence where he goes into the library and kills those teenagers was just so... it was just perfectly executed and well-crafted. Just amazing. So then we move over to Asylum. And Asylum, you know, he plays Kit Walker. Now, Kit Walker, I like Kit, I do. And I like that he stands for, like, being free in a way. But my problem with Kit, and the reason I don't like him as much as some people, is because I feel, to me, I feel like he is just an average person to, like, root for. That was my main problem with Kit Walker. Like, it didn't feel like completely a new character. It just kind of felt like, oh, this person, you know, he's been convicted of things, which, to be my personal, I don't know if it was just me, but I didn't think he'd done it. I really didn't think Kit would ever have done those kind of things. So to me, the reveal of who Bloodyface was a shock to me. I didn't expect that, but I never thought it was Kit. So for me, the whole rooting for him, it was kind of lost. And to me, he was a bit bland. But I still did like some of the things they could say. He stood for like even though Sister Jude put him in there, he wanted to get Sister Jude out. And you know, when him and Grace were taking a punishment, he was willing to take all of the punishment for Grace. And just little subtle things like that were really, really nice of him. And so yeah, like, I feel he was good, but I don't feel like he was standout. And yeah, that's how I feel about Kit Walker. So his third character was Kyle Spencer. And Kyle didn't need to be in this season. That was my problem, because this is in Coven, it's all about witches and all about females. That there are literally like two standout male characters. I mean, you could say three if you count Hank, but I don't really count Hank. But literally, Spaulding and Kyle Spence are the only ones that are actually there, that are actually like male. But Kyle he kind of came off as like, I liked him to start with. Like he was kind of being a little bit like not so much valiant, but he didn't want his frat boys doing what they were doing to the Emma Roberts character, and I liked that. But then obviously, tragedy strikes, and he's brought back to life by the witches with a spell. And the thing that annoys me with this role is Evan Peters is such a talented actor, but for this entire role, like for a good half of it, all he's got to do is sit there and make noises. And it just kind of got on my nerves. And then, I mean, after, Fiona Good did some magic and he became smarter, I liked it. And then I did like the romance between him and Zoe, so that was something. But for me, it was just because half of the season, all he was doing was making these stupid, annoying noises, and got on my nerves. But yeah, I did like him in the end. So in this fourth season, American Horror Story Freak Show, which is my most underrated season, I think. That and Hotel together are just very underrated to me. And I think Jimmy Darling, who is Evan Peters' character, is also one that's not really given enough credit, because, I mean, I've looked at a lot of ranking lists when I was, obsessed with American Horror Story. All I did was look at ranking lists. And, a lot of people said that Jimmy Darling was the worst Evan Peters character, and I just couldn't get it, because to me, he was a moral center. He didn't understand why he was being discriminated against. And, people say, oh yeah, he's an asshole, but, to me, he wasn't, because that line of dialogue he says, after they've killed the police officer at the start, and he says, if they want to call us monsters, then fine, then we'll act like monsters. And that right there, that was kind of justification for me on why he acts like he does. I think he was a protector. I really couldn't care less, when he wanted to kill the Emma Roberts character because of what she did. That didn't bother me, because he wants to protect, he doesn't want to see the freaks get hurt. And, I just liked him. I did. And then in the end, when he's like, freaks will inhabit the earth, we will always win because we stick together. And that right there was such a realization for me. It's yeah, they might be freaks, but they've got each other. And I think that was a really good message, I think. And see, I like Jimmy, I do. But in his next season, I'm trying to do this as a ranking, I don't know why. In his next season, which was Hotel, this is the one who, when I said at the start, Tate Langdon is only just about my favourite character of Evan Peters. This is the one. James Patrick March. I loved him. I think he was so he was just cunning. No, not cunning. He was so sinister and so he always had this thing about him. You knew something was bad about him. I just loved this whole idea. It was good to see Evan Peters finally play a villainous character, because I mean, someone who built a hotel with the purpose of killing people is pretty big, and I just really felt like Evan Peters took this role by the horns and just loved every second of it. I really could tell that, and it was just such a good role for him, honestly. There's not really anything else I can say other than I loved this role. He was, and I mean that voice he had on, and some people get annoyed, but Jesus, I loved that voice. I thought it just made him so much more evil, and yeah, it was great. Really, really good. And now we get to the awful ones, the Roanoke characters. And I actually want to rant about one of his Roanoke characters, but let's get into that when we get to it. So, his first character, the one that he played in the reenactment, was Edward Phillipe Mott. I don't understand. All he did was, he was gay, and I suppose that was, cool. But literally, the only thing this character offered to me was that he was related to Dandy Mott from Freak Show. That was it. That was the only thing I liked about him, and that was only just kind of like a, oh, that's pretty cool moment. So, you know, he didn't really add anything. I just didn't care for this character. I couldn't. He didn't do anything. Like, that was the problem with Roanoke. His characters weren't in them for, like, that long. Like, at least with Kyle, yeah, he was just sitting there making noises, but he was there, at least. In this, he just wasn't. And I mean, I haven't watched Roanoke in a long time, but I'm pretty sure Evan Peters did help. Well, Edward Phillipe, I'm pretty sure he did help them get out in the end, but still, it just wasn't enjoyable. But then we get on to his final character, and this is the one I kind of want to rant about. And it's Rory Monahon. So with a name like that, it only comes necessary that it's a bad character, because I have seen him on this on a ranking list. I saw him as number 3. And I don't understand, because he is there for about 10 minutes. 10 minutes of an episode is where Rory is. And in those 10 minutes, he does nothing but annoy me and die. And the dying is the good part, because he doesn't do anything. And I don't understand how he is better than James Patrick March, for one. Kit, Kyle, I don't understand. I really, it actually annoys me that people think he is better than some characters, because he does nothing. I saw someone that was like, oh yeah, but you can tell he has fun in this role. I'm like, what? He's there for 10 minutes and he dies. If that's fun to him, well done, but it's not fun to watch, and it just isn't good. It's just not good. It's that simple. I just could not get into Rory. I don't want to get into Rory because I don't like Rory. It's that simple. He is just not... he's just undeveloped. He's boring. Plus, I think he was ginger, and that just didn't work. I don't have hate on gingers. I just don't think Evan Peters suits ginger hair. What did you do that for, Evan Peters? But anyway, that's the lot. So yeah, if you want to know, my least favourite is Rory. My favourite is Tate. And yeah, so if you've seen all the American Horror Stories, please put in the comment section down below what you thought of the Evan Peters characters. And yeah, leave a like on the video if you liked it, because it lets me know that you like it, and it lets me know that I'm doing something worth watching. And subscribe to stay updated with my channel. I should have a review of the new Annabelle coming out tomorrow. And then, yeah, my Pixar ranking I'm planning to do every Thursday. So, thank you very much for watching. I have curtains. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, and goodbye.